Welcome back to the local footy show, and fellas, a couple of weeks ago, a very big day at Montmorency. You're wearing the Guernseys that tell the story. Benny, tell us about it.
Yeah, novel way the Montmorency Club organised to make a lot of money for a couple of charities, Beyond Blue and the White Ribon Foundation. They had a big luncheon on, but on the game on the Saturday, they wore the jumpers, they sold them off, and they got them sponsored. They made over $20,000 for the two charities. The Montmorency and Heidelberg football clubs both dispensed with their traditional attire last Saturday, all in the name of charity. When the teams ran out, North Heidelberg were wearing a jumper promoting the Beyond Blue Foundation and Montmorency the White Ribbon campaign. The reason for this was to raise awareness and funds for those charities.
This day came about through an initiative that was orchestrated or created through Matt Zalotti. It was Matt's brainchild, and it was something that was very close to Matt's heart, something that is promoting awareness of, Beyond Blue, the Depression Initiative, and it's also encompassing White Ribbon Foundation, eradicating violence against women.
I wanted to help out the club, not playing this year, but I wanted to stay involved and be part of it, and always wanted to do something big with Beyond Blue, and then to have two sides involved I thought would be better, and bring another charity in, and White Ribbon was another one that I believe highly in and needs help in the community.
Look, we believe it's a worthy cause. We believe that these charities contribute greatly to society. We think that these charities galvanise society, if you like. These issues are common issues with common people in society, and these are issues that we need to tackle, and tackle head on.
I've had experience this with family and stuff, lost a brother and stuff to depression. It really hits home and stuff, and like I said, I've always wanted to do something. This was an easy way for me to have a big showcase, get a lot of people down here and spread the word of both foundations.
You look at suburban footy and country football, and the backbone of, I suppose, Australian rules football, and for clubs like Montmorency to run awareness raising events and functions, on issues such as depression and violence against women, it goes a long way in making sure that people around the community actually understand these issues, and sort of, we can keep talking about it and keep those messages going in the community. And when you think that potentially the important women in your life can be a statistic, that starts to really hit home and shows the importance of keeping this message going.
As I mentioned inside, local footy is just a wonderful place, and it's great for people to stay connected with their friends, with family, get down to the local footy club and stay connected. And certainly, I think that's probably a big issue with depression and depression illnesses is people actually isolating themselves. So, it's great to get down and talk about it here, and a wonderful thing that Montmorency are doing. And the more that people talk about depressive illnesses and mental illnesses, the better off I think we'll all be.
As a young guy, 17 to 19, if someone had have asked me what depression was all about, I would have said it's for crazy people, it's for soft people, it's for weak people, it's for people who can't cope. Because I knew nothing about it, I was bulletproof, and it wasn't going to happen to me. I started to do some pretty way out things as far as trying to gain acceptance from my teammates. So I was drinking very heavily on nights and weekends after a game. So if you're talking about the last person out, the loudest, the craziest, that was always me. It was my way of hiding deep down inside that I was really struggling to cope with the pressures of AFL. And that's what I put it down to. Did I want to tell anyone about that? Of course not. I was shit scared. I was so scared that my teammates would find out, think that I was weak. I was scared that my family would find out. I had a wife at the time with a young baby on the way. I was scared of what I was going to do if I couldn't play AFL footy. So my plan at the time was to just keep charging straight ahead. Don't tell anyone about it. Put it behind you, man up, toughen up, get on with the job, because you don't know what's going to happen if you let people know that you're actually struggling. Things got worse. Got really bad. Got to the stage in 2004 where I was actually turning up to games hoping that I'd tear a hamstring, that I'd break a leg, that something serious would happen, just so that I could get out of that pressure. I got to the stage, unfortunately, where I was having suicidal thoughts. It was becoming a logical option for me to hurt myself so that I could get away from this pressure. And that just tells you a little bit about where I was mentally. And in the end, in 2004, physically I caved in as well. I'd hit the wall that many times in my own time. I'd hidden it from everyone. I'd masked it from everyone. I was carrying a fair bit of guilt and shame and disgust in myself for a very long time. And it wasn't until my coach grabbed me, Peter Swab, and a terrific fellow, took me into the rooms, And he said, mate, you've got to tell me what's going on. Son, I know that you're not right. And just like I've done to you today, I told him everything, just spilled my guts. He said, you've got to promise me you'll do one thing. He said, tomorrow you've got to go and see a doctor, you've got to go and see a specialist. He said, but promise me tonight you go home and tell your family, tell your closest friends, and communicate what's going on with them, and answer this one question. If you don't receive help, if you don't find out and educate yourself on what is wrong and why your health isn't any good, will this follow you wherever you go? So if you go home to the country, if you retire from AFL footy, will this follow you wherever you go? I was diagnosed a couple of days later with severe depression, went saw a psychiatrist, got on medication. It's amazing, isn't it? We are a society of pill takers. Whether you like to say it or not, we are. If you've got a runny nose, you take a Sudafed. If you've got a headache, you take a Panadol. If you've got a broken leg, you go to the hospital, they'll put you on morphine, they'll put your leg in a cast and fix you up. Yet if someone has what's called a mental illness, none of us want to take a pill for it. None of us want to take medication for it. And I felt the same way. But by then I was in a situation where it was time to take whatever and do whatever to make sure I got healthy again. And that's what I did. Having learnt about what depression was and what mental illness do to people and had done to myself was a massive eye-opener. Don't miss the fact that depression and mental illness is a silent killer in society. It really is. The amount of young people, the amount of old people, the amount of country people that unfortunately are taking matters into their own hands as far as their health without seeking specialist help is just astronomical. It really is. If you're talking numbers, from 16 to 25 for the age group, it's something like 1 in 4 people will have experienced some sort of depression, and only 1 in 4 of those will actually ask for help. And unfortunately, some of those people, whether it be not strong enough, whether it be not enough network backing as far as family connections or whatever, or help, they don't get through and they don't make it. So the more that we talk about it, you know, the more things I get along to and just tell my story, the more times football clubs like Montmorency and North Heidelberg put things in place where depression is spoken about out in public areas so people realise it is okay to actually put your hand up and ask for help. It is okay to talk about your problems. It is okay to communicate what's going on. The much better we'll be off, not just as people but as a society as well. And if I can leave you with one thing, please, you know what, we're all very busy people. And I think sometimes we sit back and we hope that other people will notice that we're struggling. But it doesn't always happen. We're all living busy lives. You've got to be proactive with your own health. Even though sometimes it may not feel good, your pride might take a bit of a battering, you may have to get off your ass and get off the couch and go and see the doctor or see the right people, you've got to do it.
So good, isn't it? Really, I mean, the other day actually, and I'm not going to get political, well, there's 2 things you don't talk about, religion, football, and politics, and I promise I'll talk about, or very little about either of those today, but I was emceeing the non-carbon tax rally the other day, and only because, you know, just in case there's a few greenies here, we don't expect you to identify yourselves. It's kind of like, yeah, but why would you? I mean, it's a great pleasure to come back home. I was born and raised in Melbourne. I'm a Pascoe Vale boy.
I think one of the great things I've learnt in life is that nothing comes easy, and neither it should.
The way that you've come into a football club, a local football club, and being able to tell your story, does that do you good?
It's the great thing about it is that it's a therapeutic. Thank you, brother. Is that this is part of my healing process. This is why I do it, and the fact that people allow me to tell my story and are so warm and affectionate about it, and they give me the energy that I need to heal those wounds. So, I mean, I do it because, you know, I love doing it, and because the people that I meet are part of my healing process. You know, Mum always said to me, and I used to think we did it pretty tough as when I was a kid, as a family, and she used to say, you know, the thing you've got to remember is that no matter how tough it is for us, there's always people that are doing it tougher, and she always put her hand out to help other people. So I learnt that from her.